Hello there, this is Shadow Ranger. I'm gonna give my thoughts on Sacrifice, just quick results and where we go from here storyline wise. Um, Mexican America defeated Inc. Mexican America had much interference from the ladies. This is plays into exactly what I said. What I would do with the two feuds is this is where Inc. is getting close to beating them, and the girls keep interfering. And this is where I would bring in Christina and Buggy to the roster to team up with Inc. and get that feud going. Again, you can check out my video after Immortal episode 6, Guys and Dolls. Get the full story. This is also, I wish these teams were feuding for the tag team titles instead of Beer Money and Matt Hardy and Chris Harris. I really don't think Beer Money need the tag team titles right now. I would rather see them drop those belts, get screwed out of those belts, and have Mexican America pick them up and have a program for a couple of months of Inc. chasing Mexican America to get those belts. Not that I don't really have a problem with Beer Money's champions. I just think they don't really need the belts right now. Let's see here. Brian Kendrick defeated Robbie E. It was an okay match. I like Brian Kendrick. Anytime Robbie E is on my TV screen, I am happy. Mainly because Robbie E is cool to watch, and he always brings Cookie with him. If you don't like seeing Cookie, you have no soul. It didn't really need, people said, the match, they don't know why the match is on the card or there's no build up for it, but it's just there to satiate all you people who constantly complain about there not being enough X Division. Well, they gave you an X Division match, and it was a pretty fun match. Plus, like I said, all you people who love X Division, do you really give a damn about the story? You just want the match, don't you? Mickie James defeated Tara to retain the Knockouts title. I was a little confused by this one. It seemed like Tara was a little conflicted. I mean, I get that on the one hand she wants to be free, but on the other hand, one, Madison's the one who brought her back, and two, she doesn't like Mickie James anyway. So it's like, to get my freedom, I have to help Mickie James win. Personally, I hope Tara goes into a feud with Mickie after this. Just sort of, hey, thanks for setting me free, but now I want the belt, so I gotta take you out, bitch. That's what I'd like to see go with this. But you also have a possibility of Madison and Tara feuding. You have the possibility of Mickie maybe going into a program with Winter and Angelina. I think that's where they're gonna go. Probably with Tara feuding with Madison and Mickie feuding with Winter. It's kind of hard to find options because the Knockouts roster is so depleted. So they got to start rounding up some new women and bringing some people back. Let's see here. Kazarian defeated Max Buck to retain the X Division title. It was a fun little X Division match. Not really much to say about it. Not much storyline involved. Much like Beer Money, Kazarian doesn't need the X Division title right now. I don't want Max Buck to be the X Division champion. I'd rather see maybe like Brian Kendrick or Amazing Red or someone else with that belt. But Kazarian doesn't really need it right now. He's kind of focused on the Fortune and Immortal thing right now. So he just doesn't need the belt, so I'd rather see somebody else have it. Crimson defeated Abyss with the Red Sky, which is the Sky High Power Bomb. D'Lo Brown used to do it. Crimson needed this win. Abyss doesn't lose anything by losing. The match was really fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It was probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Probably my second favorite match of the night. Does Crimson go into a program with Joe now? Does he go after Gunner? There's a lot of options for Crimson. There's Joe. He can go after Gunner, go for the TV title. Abyss might want a rematch. He might do some more stuff with Abyss for a little while. But right now, Crimson's off to a good start, and I'm just interested in seeing where he goes next. I probably would rather, although I do like Gunner, and I think he has a lot of potential, I would like to see him maybe hang on to that TV title for a while. I can see Crimson beating him forward and having a good run with it as well. Beer Money defeated Matt Hardy and Chris Harris. Crowd wasn't as into this match as I thought they'd be. I mean, you got a couple of Braden Walker chants, which is what I expected. I was looking forward to that because I knew the Impact Zone would chant Braden Walker, and I really wanted that to happen. What kept this match interesting to me is because I was wondering if there'd be a heel turn for James Storm. Maybe he'd turn on Robert Roode and side with Chris Harris or something like that. There were just points in the match where I thought it might happen, but I'm glad that it didn't. I don't think AMW needs to be together. If Beer Money's gonna split up, I'd rather see all three guys go singles. Robert Roode can probably go right into the main event and bypass going for the TV title. I think he has enough skill and been there long enough where people will buy him going straight after the world title. Storm and Roode can stay, not Roode. Storm and Harris could both be contenders for the TV title in the future. Thought Chris Harris looked okay. I don't know how long it's been since he wrestled, so he might have a little ring rust. But I think after a little more work, he'll work off any ring rust he has, and he'll be all right to have. Tommy Dreamer beat AJ Styles. It was a nice little hardcore match. The ending was predictable. As soon as I found out it was no DQ, I knew Bully Ray was going to interfere and help Dreamer win. This just screamed filler. Like they're just stalling because they want to do AJ and Bully Ray at Slammiversary, but they didn't just want to leave both guys off the pay-per-view. So that seems like what this was all about. But I don't have a problem with Tommy Dreamer winning. I know some people are gonna bitch about Tommy Dreamer winning because they think the younger guy should always beat the older guy, which I think is a bullshit statement. But let's not get into that right now. Storyline wise, it was best for Tommy Dreamer to win. It best progresses the storyline, so I'm glad Tommy won. Kurt Angle and Chyna versus Karen and Jeff Jarrett. This was, in my opinion, the best match of the night. This was by far, no contest, my favorite match of the night because it told a great story. They did it perfectly. No one really cared about what Kurt did to Jeff. Everybody was here to see one thing. I would bet that the majority of the people who bought this pay-per-view and watched this pay-per-view watched it to see one thing. To see Chyna beat up Karen. That's what we were waiting for. And they didn't just give it to you at the beginning. They teased it. They stalled it. They built the whole match to it. They built the whole match of Kurt Angle taking down Jeff Jarrett so he couldn't interfere, going to bring in Chyna, but Jeff still having some fight until Kurt finally took Jeff Jarrett down enough for him to tag in Chyna, and Chyna could finish off Karen. She finished off Karen with one freaking splash. Karen was done after that. She gave her a pedigree for good measure, slapped on an ankle lock. Karen's about to tap, and Kurt wouldn't let her tap, so Jeff Jarrett wouldn't let Karen tap, so Kurt slapped the ankle lock on him. They tapped together. It was fantastic. I loved it. I thought the whole thing was great. It was fun. It was funny. It built up great. It even had suspense because, again, maybe it's just me being paranoid, but I kind of was wondering if Chyna might turn on Jeff and they reveal, Jeff paid her off. I was wondering, I heard some rumors that Jeff, when Karen was on saying that she's injured, maybe think, Jeff's going to say, I got a replacement, and maybe he was going to bring out Isis because a lot of people thought that was going to be her and Chyna's role. But it worked. I mean, Chyna had a little ring rush. She did mess up one move. But, she's been out of wrestling for about, 6 or 7 years. It's to be expected she'd have a little ring rust. I think it was very little, though. Have Chyna wrestle 2 or 3 more matches. She'll get the ring rust off and be ready to go. And she seemed fine here. She seemed great. We all know Chyna's had some personal issues, and let's hope those are all under control. But, if Chyna's personal issues are all under control and she's got her head on straight, I think she could be a nice addition to the Knockouts roster. I could get it. I would be interested in seeing Chyna versus Mickie James, Chyna versus Tara. Possibly if ODB were to come back, Chyna versus ODB could be good. I'm just sorry that Chyna comes in after they lost Awesome Kong, because Chyna versus Awesome Kong would be a kick-ass match. Who would not love to see that? I mean, 2 of the most powerful, dominant women in wrestling history going one-on-one. That would have been great, but, I hope Chyna sticks around for a little while. I don't know how much you can do with her, but I wouldn't be against it. They need some new additions to the female roster. Chyna doesn't seem too bad in the ring. She doesn't feel like she forgot too much. I think she'll work off her ring rust and be okay pretty soon. I could get into this. Again, this was my favorite match of the night. It told a fantastic story. I loved it from beginning to ending. Sting beat RVD, retained the title. Hopefully this means RVD's out of the title picture. That's great. I don't, like seeing Ron Van Dam on my television screen. Anytime Ron Van Dam gets beaten, it's cool. But the fact that he was in this match made me not that interested in it. But, it was an okay match for what it was. Sting won. He is moving on to Anderson at Slammiversary. So let's look at what we have going and where we might be looking at Slammiversary. Now, we know we got our main event, Sting versus Anderson. I'm fully expecting Anderson to come out with a win there. I'm thinking maybe some type of number one contenders, King of the Mountain, or maybe an X Division King of the Mountain. I think Beer Money might I think Beer Money should drop those titles to Mexican America on the next Impact. Have Hardy and Harris interfere, and then Mexican American Inc. can face for the titles at Slammiversary. Think you have the final Jeff Jarrett Kurt Angle match. I think it might be like a last man standing or some type of career match. AJ and Bully Ray's looking good. Probably an X Division King of the Mountain. I want King of the Mountain back. Either, you know what I'd actually like? I wouldn't mind seeing Queen of the Mountain. Let the Knockouts do the match. Mickey can defend her title. You can have let's see, Tara, Madison, Winter, Cerrito. Maybe that could work. I don't know. But, round up 5 women. Do Queen of the Mountain. Maybe Crimson and Samoa Joe. I hope the TV title's on the pay-per-view. I want to see that happen. But if they're not going to do a King of the... I want King of the Mountain back. You can do King of the Mountain for the TV title. That would be fine as well. Let some of the mid-card guys shine. Maybe TV title King of the Mountain and Knockouts title Queen of the Mountain. That's probably what I'd like to see. I might go ahead and do another video later and throw out my fantasy card, but but storyline wise, I think we're looking okay going into Slammiversary. We also got to talk about what happens next with Immortal and the network. That's always something you got to talk about. Hopefully some things work out well there. But for now, we just look forward to Thursday's Impact and see what happens. Let's see how far they continue with the new ad campaign of Impact Wrestling Matters Again. I actually had an idea a few minutes ago what would be cool to get more people into this. Have a contest where you tell fans to make would you like to be featured on the episode of Impact? Make a 30-minute video with your name and telling why wrestling matters to you in 30 seconds. And we'll pick one each week and play it on Impact. And I think a lot of people do it, and they would tune in to Impact just to see if they get picked and hear their voice on TV. Just, 30-second clip, tell me why wrestling matters. I think that could be a good marketing tool. But before I stop rambling, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Overall, I give Sacrifice B-. C+. Because although I like the matches, I thought they were good. This pay-per-view really screamed filler. This really screamed a pay-per-view to me of, if TNA wasn't contractually obligated to do this pay-per-view, it probably wouldn't have taken place at all. But it was still a fun show to watch, and I'm glad I watched it. So, we will leave it at that. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.